Welcome to eVision Live with Dr. Alexandra Kleeberg.
And Dietrich Busaka and Samantha Lotus from Montreal. We have as a wonderful guest here with a powerful healing story from all sorts of diseases and especially a cancerous disease.
Yes. So, and welcome, Samantha, for very glad that we can talk together today. And I think we have a really, really special, interesting story for our audience today. Samantha, well, if you look at your website, your presentation, you have been somebody who has done lots of studies. You have been a psychologist, you have sociology like me also you studied apparently. And you are this famous word I can't pronounce. You're a psychoneuroendocrinologist, right? I have problems pronouncing it, even in German. You're a holistic health practitioner. I think this is the most important. You're teaching and coaching lifestyle and holistic health, and or even also into business coaching. This is actually, I see your website, your Facebooks. It's always that you're teaching, well, a lot of is based around happiness, I would say. And you're really, really spreading happiness and love and all over when somebody sees you. But this was not always the case. And this is what we wanted to talk with you about today.
Tell us your story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on here. It's really a pleasure to get to share this with all of your network and mine as well. So thank you so much. And yeah, as you said, the main thing that I really want to share to the world is health, happiness, and freedom. And that definitely has always been the rhetoric of what I've been portraying and sharing with the world. However, internally, if you've read my story, I definitely struggled a lot. I grew up in a very tumultuous type of environment, surrounded by disease, depression, oppression, a lot of sickness, a lot of cancer, and density, just a lot of darkness. And it was really challenging for me, being a very expressive, happy, light, and loving type of person, to be under so much pressure. And growing up, always facing health challenges, recurring illnesses, recurring infections. My body just was very, very sensitive. And, when I went through high school, just trauma after trauma, repeating these old patterns from childhood. And eventually my body just started to shut down. It started with me losing my menstrual cycle when I was maybe 20 years old. And then my digestive system started to shut down. I developed an autoimmune condition. My hair started falling out. I was getting really, really sick. I was starting to faint. And all of a sudden, when every single system in my body was shutting down, my doctors were saying that I had systemic infections that were cancerous blood situation. And it was a bit of a disaster. Let's just say I found myself.
27 at that time, or how old were you?
Yeah, I was 26. I was 26 at the time. Yeah. So it really started slowly throughout my life, but then in my 20s, it was exacerbated by different triggers and stresses, and mostly a lot of self-resentment. What I realized going through my healing process, that it was very psychological. It was my body responding to the way that I was feeling on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Everything was shut off in a way.
Yeah. And attacking itself. Mm-hmm. Right? The autoimmune condition, the infection, the cancerous blood situation, it was my body literally eating itself and attacking itself.
Mm-hmm. And you told us that you were a psychologist at that time, a nutritionist, you knew everything. So how come that happened? Because there are a lot of people watching us, they know all that stuff and they're still sick. So what happened? What's your thesis?
Yeah. My studies in psychology and naturopathy, it helped in one way, because I knew that I didn't need to necessarily go down the chemo route. I knew that there was something going on, but because of that, I would actually overanalyze and judge and critique and beat myself even more. It was like, oh, I know I'm creating this. I know I'm doing this. And so then there would be shame and guilt and pain. and anger and resentment. And there's just so many different contributing factors, as well as the confusion of what all my doctors were saying, of doubting myself. Is it maybe something else? There was just so much going on that I was completely overwhelmed. And I was also in school and working and dealing with the rest of life that I feel like I didn't have any space to just process, which is what I find with so many of the clients that I work with, is there's so much going on that they don't even have a minute to sit with themselves to orient and understand what is actually happening. It just felt like the world was swirling so fast, and I was just, getting sucked down into the depths of this depression and disease without having any.
Stop it. You just stopped it, I think, when you decided or made a decision after you heard that you had some cancerous blood disease, right?
The turning point truly was, I was laying in my bed and I thought I was dying. My liver was there. It felt like there was lightning shooting through my liver, through my whole body. I couldn't see anything. I had fainted, and like everything was so disoriented, and I was in so much pain. My body, I thought it was going to explode. And I called my best friend and I told her, I think I'm dying. And I said, tell my family, you can take all my things. And I went through that process, and I called the ambulance, and the ambulance was on its way. And I had this experience, kind of like a near-death experience that people talk about, which is something I didn't believe in before. But I had this experience where I heard what was like myself, but outside of myself, like you could say a God self or higher self. And it was just like very clear in my voice, being like, Samantha, like you're getting what you wanted. Like you wanted everything to stop. You wanted it to end. You didn't want this pain anymore. And so, a part of you wanted to die. A part of you didn't want to do life anymore. So here's your option. Would you like to take it? Mm-hmm. And it was being presented to me just like, okay, life or death. And it shook me to my core, like awoken to, oh my God, I have a choice. Do I want to die, or are there still things that I need to accomplish? And just like, again, like this lightning struck me. I have so much I have to do. I have so much I have to do on this planet. I cannot die. I have to live. And then it was so clear. Okay, if you want to live, this is what you have to do. And it was like, forgive yourself, forgive your mom, forgive your dad, let go of resentment, let go of the anger, stop beating yourself up, choose to live, choose to be happy. Like it was just this whole guidebook of all of the things that I got to do if I wanted to get better.
And that was in a minute or in a day, or when did you get all these insights?
That it kind of was downloaded in that choice where I chose to live. It was very, very clear. And then I ended up going to the hospital. I was okay. I came home, and then I radically shifted my life. I wrote out all of the things that can no longer happen if I choose to be healthy and happy and free. Mm-hmm. And then I chose, okay, well then who do I need to become? Who do I need to become? What are the thoughts I need to have? What are the actions I need to take? What are the people I need to surround myself with if I would like to be a healthy, happy person that deserves to be on earth and gets to contribute and receive? Who do I need to become? And then I decided, it was a very clear decision, I'm going to be that person.
Okay, so to break it down for our audience and make it a little bit slower, it just pops up out of you and bubbles up. But I want our audience to understand it step by step. So the first step was a decision to live. It was a crisis, and then a decision, I want to live, I don't want to die.
Yep.
And after that was, if I want to live, I have to change, right? There was something evolved, like a plan or a plan what not to do, or how could you put it in straight so our audience can follow that step by step? How would that look like?
Yeah, it was me asking, well, why am I so sick?
Okay, and I decided to live. Why am I to look for the causes?
Yeah.
Getting conscious about what
Getting conscious about the causes. Okay, great.
Being conscious of and really looking at myself, like stepping out of denial and really looking at how I was contributing, how I created my own illness. Mm-hmm. And then it was a decision, okay, to let that go, to change that, to stop doing those things that were contributing to my sickness.
So
and then
you sort of made a list. What shouldn't I do anymore?
Yeah, like what can't happen anymore.
So you wrote that down.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah,
Great.
I did. I did. And
I think that's very important to write it down.
Yeah, all of the actions and also the stories that like, I am not good enough. I am not worthy. I don't deserve to be here. I ruin everybody's lives. Like all of these stories, these programs that I had, I saw, oh, that's contributing to my illness. So that's in the things that can no longer come with me into this next iteration.
So you wrote down your unconscious belief, self-damaging beliefs, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. Great.
This you got from yourself, from your knowledge as a psychologist, or was somebody helping you with that, or?
It was a little bit of everything. I was very fortunate that I went through psychology and that I've been in the more esoteric type of metaphysical communities, but it was also just sitting with myself, like laying in bed and tuning into my body and my mind without analyzing it and just allowing it to speak to me, like allowing things to come through.
Okay. What makes me sick, and then communicating with the body.
Yeah.
Would be a very important step. Great.
Yeah. Yeah. And then.
And what was your hypothesis that actually, what were the causes that made you sick?
You know, I believe it started truly when in inception, my mom and my dad weren't together, and my mom being pregnant was a big problem, and it caused my father, like it was very challenging. And so I feel like even when my mom was pregnant, maybe something inside of me heard, oh no, you're ruining your life, or this is bad. You shouldn't be having a baby. And so growing up with them not being together, and then having a stepdad, and just not feeling like I belonged, or feeling like I was a burden, feeling like I wasn't worthy of love, like I wasn't good enough, that perpetuated throughout every interaction I had in my life. And the anxiety of that, and feeling like I was a burden on the world. For all the people I loved, it was like I wanted to destroy myself because of how much I loved everyone else. And I think that was permeating through my entire life.
So it was a very, very deep programming.
Yeah.
In self-damagement.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you
for your honesty. Many people, sorry, it's really, I think this going deep. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, what happened then? So what was the steps then after that you wrote down how to get out of it?
So then it was looking at, I like to call it a wellness wheel, like every different facet of my life. Okay, my relationships, my work, my relationship to food, my health and wellness, my spirituality. I looked at all of the different parts of my life, and I started to rate myself. Well, like from 0 to 10, you know, where am I in the spectrum? And then what do I have to do? So what does a healthy and a happy and a free person do? And I had to create, my old company was called Real Life But Better. And I had to create, well, what would that be? What would I visualize if I had like the perfect life, and if I was healthy and happy and free? Who would I need to be? And I started to list that person out, and essentially to visualize and to create myself. I stepped into God's space essentially and was like, okay, I am new, I am reborn, and I'm going to recreate myself. Who do I get to be?
That sounds very systematic now. Was it then that systematic at that time, or it was just a spontaneous development?
A little bit of both. I am quite systematic. And so I really did sit down and was like, okay, what do I need to do? Like bullet points, like menu plans for healing, anti-inflammation, you know, who do I need to cut out of my life? Like all of it. I really broke it down and made this like big board and book of all of the things that I had to do.
Great.
Yeah. But then, thank you.
How did you call it? A wellness wheel?
A wellness wheel. It's a tool that we use in life coaching.
Okay.
Yeah. But the one thing I have to say is that the first 2 years of my healing was not easy. And because I was so paranoid, I was trying to heal, but with an energy of fear. Like, oh my God, I'm going to get sick again. And so I was so rigid and so attached to, I'm healing. And this is what I see with my clients, that the energy of the fear is actually deteriorating to the process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are working with Bettina. She has a healing path of cancer. And when she got the diagnosis, she did all this alternative stuff, nutrition and everything, but with a very, let's call it Prussian mentality, very disciplined, very strict. And she got even sicker by that, although she lived very healthy. And then one time she said, stop, I changed not the content, but I changed the energy of how I do it. And then it worked.
That's exactly it. And that's something that I really noticed within my own life. I was so strict on how I had to heal, and that's contraction, and that's not where healing happens. And so once I finally let go and became more moderate in the way that I was living and changed the energetics into really trusting that I'm going to be okay, trusting that my body knows how to heal, that's where things really started to change. And that was really only in the last year and a half, truly.
And what was the turning point for that, Samantha?
Doing some alternative ceremonies and working with different plant medicines, and just deciding to trust the universe a little bit more, recognizing that what I was doing wasn't working, and that I was actually so healthy it hurt. And just like kind of the universe put things into my path and people with messages saying like, Sam, you need to let go. So this theme of like letting go of everything, surrendering and trusting and deepening to a more feminine of just like being held and receiving, that has been the biggest part of the healing journey. And
the first thing was that the other part didn't really work, at least not to the extent as you wanted it to work.
Yes. Yeah. And then
I came from the outside, came inspiration for that.
Yes. And because we're all mirrors, a lot of the clients that I was working with in life coaching, they were coming up with similar autoimmune conditions, fibromyalgia, and I saw them as being so strict and focused on their healing. And I recognized, oh, it's a mirror. Okay. How can I soften? How can I be more moderate? How can I be more in flow? And then through that, those teachings, through osmosis in my clients, they were starting to heal. And I realized, okay, yeah, that's truly what the medicine is the energetic of trust and love and courage and hope, rather than scarcity and fear, because that is what deteriorates health.
So it's not really matters what you eat, but how you do it. It's not matter what you do, but how you do it. It's the energy and the spirit in that, right?
Exactly. And, I truly believe that. I used to be so afraid of gluten and dairy and sugar and soy and everything. And then I realized that you can eat a cookie or a cake with love and really intention and mindfulness and decide that it's going to be good for you, and it will. And I'm not saying that eat cookies and cakes all the time, but I do believe that the energetic of it, the way that you interact with what you're putting in, is 100 times more important and powerful than what it actually is.
Absolutely. I'm really happy about what you say, because this is my experience in all the interviews with people who heal themselves. They first try to do it in a very strict and rigid manner because they were so fearful, but that most of the time it didn't work. And then they changed the energy and the atmosphere in which they did things. And all at once, everything opens up. The body opens up, the mind opens up, the heart opens up, and communities open up. And this is a very miracle point, I think.
Yeah. Recognizing that everything is energy, that we are one. We truly are. We're all just manifestations of the one source consciousness. And at our core, it's just energetics. And so when you start to tune into that, like, ooh, how am I interacting with my life? And how am I being? And what's the energy between here? Is it fueled by love or is it fueled by fear? That's the differentiating game.
What's the fuel? Yes. What's the fuel?
I would like to know, Samantha, in which way did friends, community, family play a role in your healing?
Yeah. At first, when I got really sick, they were the ones playing a role in the disease. What I recognized was that as I wasn't the healthiest person, I was surrounded by other people that weren't the healthiest. And I was allowing a lot of my family and my friends to affect me emotionally. And I wasn't really supported when I decided not to go to the medical route. I had some friends leave me, some family members really question. I didn't feel supported. And so I had to shut everyone out and decide to only have people in my life that were really healthy and health promoting. And I remember praying to God or to the universe to send me my tribe, because I felt so alone my whole life in my world. I had a lot of friends, but I felt very alone in the way that I understood the world. And so I prayed and I said, please, like, dear God, send me people that are like me. And that very, very shortly after, I ended up meeting a whole tribe of amazing humans in what's now my community. And they offered me support and perspectives and reflections that I had never had. And they really held me and made me like truly feel loved, unconditionally loved. And that energetic of really being supported, I feel like that helps transform so much.
So once you got this insight that you have to change the energy from fear to love, how long did it take for you to heal completely?
You know, even now, sometimes that energy of fear, that the anxiety that things aren't going to work out, that comes in. And so although I would say I'm 95% healed, my digestion still has challenges sometimes where if I'm taking on too much or I feel anxious or fearful, my body won't process it. And so I'll bloat, I'll get indigestion. And it's still that practice as fear comes up to be able to see it and recognize it and let it go. So it's definitely an ongoing
turning point. It took a year or so to get this 95%.
I feel like after that turning point, the decision, I started to feel better almost immediately. Not fully, but it was pretty instant. And then within the first month, there was a huge noticeable difference. The first year, nobody could tell that I wasn't well. And then after that year, everything was great. My thyroid returned. I was getting my menstrual cycle again. It was still just that.
Wow.
So I have my menstrual cycle now. It's been about 2 years. And I hadn't had it for 7 years, which is pretty amazing. And so everything has returned. And then it's just that last little bit of the digestion, which is where truly the release of kind of like all of the old happens.
So once you go into this process, you get encouraged because your thyroid functions again and this functions again, and you feel better and healthier and happier, right? It's a self-encouraging path, actually.
Exactly, because everything's connected, right? The pituitary gland connected to the thyroid gland, connected to the adrenals, like there's no separation. And that's my challenge with the medical community is it's all so separated. They they see your one piece of your body is separate to the rest, but everything pulls on every other system in your body.
Yes.
And so when you start to heal, you start to notice, oh, wow, okay, my endocrine system's coming on board. Wow, my thyroid's coming on board. Oh, my brain is clear and I don't feel foggy. Oh, my blood levels are regulating. And it's that reverse domino effect, which is really beautiful.
Yes, and it probably rises up the self-esteem, or I can do it.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Samantha, what is now your vision for life? How would you say it?
My vision for my life is to be the embodiment of health, happiness, and freedom. And my mission on the planet is to empower others with this information and the tools to understand that they are the creators of their life. They are also the creation of that creator, and to inspire and to instill the hope that life can be beautiful, that we all do deserve to be happy, healthy, and free. And the pathway to that is truly within. We do have that power to self-heal and to live an amazing life, to truly enjoy the gift that we have to be in this reality.
And I think you're the best teacher, not because you studied psychology, but because you went through this process, right? It makes you much, much better than just studying something.
Yeah,
it was a gift. It was truly.
Want to get in contact with you, just go to samanthalotus.com. So we will put a sign somewhere below here. And but just tell us what changed in your life.
Everything. I used to believe that my story was that nothing ever works out, right? Like even if it almost works out, the rug will get pulled. It was always just fear and anxiety and stress. And now it's just trusting that everything always works out, that the universe has your back, that we're all connected, that we are powerful creators, that everything stems from the mind, our reality, our perception, that we are in control, and that life is amazing. This life is such an amazing gift. And the only point of life really is to bring meaning to it and to be in love, to love what we do and to share that to share that with other people and to rise the vibration of the planet and to truly share these messages.
Beautiful.
And you said to rise up into love and not to fall into love, right?
Yes, absolutely. The way that the society has been is, with the war permeation and with polarity and with misogyny and the patriarchy, like there have been a lot of contracting type of themes going through society. And now we're at this beautiful point where we're really shifting into what people are calling the golden age, where there's this mass awakening, where people are reclaiming their power, where love and light and vibration and frequency are truly the rhetoric that people are speaking of and resonating with. And we're at such a beautiful time now. And it feels really good to be on the forefront, as ambassadors of this movement.
Yeah.
That's a great word, ambassador. So if you give our audience, 5 advices how to heal themselves, what would they be?
Yeah. So the first one would be to create space, meaning take time to lay in bed or meditate or just to be with your body, where you're listening, where you're developing a relationship with your body, because your back doesn't hurt for no reason. There's always an emotional and energetic reason. So to create a practice where you're being with yourself, to start to understand and to learn what's going on. The second thing would be to do some introspection on, why am I this way? Why do I feel depressed? Why do I feel that nothing works out for me? What are my stories? So I like to call it the activity of the old story. Writing out all of those old stories. Oh, nothing ever works out for me. I'm not tall enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not beautiful enough. All of the not enoughs, write those out. And then the third thing would be to visualize if you were the creator of your life, if you were the ultimate God, what would your life be? Who would you be? What would you be doing? Who would you be surrounded with? Like, to really get clear on that vision. And then to ask yourself, okay, well, to reverse engineer it essentially. Okay, if that's what I want for my life, what are all of the different things that I need to do and to be and to say and to get there? And so to create a plan. And then really working on knowing that you deserve it. This, I think, is the most important thing for people, is knowing that you truly do deserve to be happy. You deserve to be healthy. You are loved. You are worthy. You're meant to be here. To truly know that, and to trust that even if you don't know what your purpose is or why you're here, to believe that you will find that. And that your only job right now is to just love yourself and to reclaim your power. So I would say, like, some of those exercises. And then finally is to get in tune with nature, to move your body, to be outdoors, to get sunlight, to go into the forests, to eat natural foods, to drink clean water, to use essential oils, to be in tune with the elements of nature, to really reconnect, because that does have such an invigorating and rejuvenating effect on the mind and the body.
Yes. And you had another point, like what you said, find your own tribe, right?
And yes,
that
be
was also
supported.
important.
It's so important, working with a coach, working with a mentor, working with a community that are going to support you, trying different modalities, getting massages and acupuncture, all of those things will help. And so being around people that can be a network for you, that can lift you up and help you rise into your healing.
Great.
Beautiful.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. This was a great structure. And I think everybody hopefully can align with parts of it. Maybe some are a little bit hesitant at the first time, but I think there were very clear instructions which you gave, and I think they were great. And with all the interviews we did, they are in alignment with all the others who went these healing paths.
It's amazing. Every time it confirms, all these steps are always coming up again. So
the steps are individual steps, but the big picture, you have to change from fear to love, from individual to a collective supporting tribe, to go into nature, to visualize your higher self or your vision of the future. That's what most of people did who went on healing paths.
And I something you mentioned is so important. you know, people being hesitant to believe this. I was the biggest skeptic. I didn't believe that angels were real, or that higher self, or the universe, or that you could heal yourself. Like, I didn't believe in any of that originally.
Yes.
And so many of my clients, that's their one block, is that they don't believe they can heal. They don't believe they can get better. And that is the only thing holding them back from healing. And so for anyone that is in a place of health crisis, what I would encourage them to do is give yourself 3 months to just try. Just try to let go of the fact that of the belief that you can't heal. Just take it on, practice it, pretend that you can heal.
Yes.
And give yourself 3 months
Just
and
do
try
it.
that out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's like how I met this wonderful lady here, and how I learned it. I was completely hesitant in this stuff, and now I've seen it. I see how her patients, her clients heal themselves. It's so amazing. That's why I'm supporting
and you
this
did it.
to get it. And I healed myself from different things. So it just becomes a lifestyle, becomes something which and you're getting in your daily life, and you're just seeing life differently when you're having this. You're somehow trusting into that.
Yes, and often we have people, they said, oh, this sounds very good, but this is not, I can't do it. So I'm really glad that you opened up this last point, that you were very hesitant. So I think our imagination might be a thriving force to just try it for a few months, and then it sort of becomes automized.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great.
Samantha, thank you so much for this interview. I think I would love to hug you tomorrow morning.
It was very inspiring, very clear, very structured, and for me it's very helpful. And I wish you all the best for your vision, for your life. And if we can do something for you, we are here in Germany. We have a holiday home. You come here for holidays. Or
I would love that.
we can help you even if we are thousands of miles away.
So that's
whatever
also
we
part
can
of
do,
this
we support
community, this network. We are also trying to get into, to build up. And I think this is very important. As you said, it's a golden age. We are it's more and more people are transforming and rising up. So I think this is very important to get connected all over the world. Thank you so much, Samantha.
Thank you so much. I say the same.
And the motto is rise up into love.
Yeah.
Is that your motto?
It is now. Yeah. Let's rise in love together.
Rise in love together. Okay. Thank you so much, Samantha.
I appreciate you both so much. Thank you for the work that you do and just for shining such beautiful light. I really appreciate you.
And thank you for everything.
Okay.
Okay.